Welcome back to another episode of Revolutionary Girl Utena. So in the previous one, we had a big change up, right? Once again, it feels like we're now in the final arc, I guess, of the story, because Akio decided to take a very active stance in this story, right? And it was him and Toga just hanging around in a car, and they kind of took Sionji, who just came back to school. They kind of took him and gassed him up to be like, yo, Sionji, yo, you should kind of like nudging him, towards fighting. We're friends, right, Sionji? We're friends, right? And kind of like nudging him towards fighting Utena, of course, and he ended up losing, even though he was kind of like, oh, I'm a new man, but I feel like more so than him being a new man, I feel like he kind of like regressed back to his old self. Right, because I feel like there was a point with Sionji that we saw him with like Wakaba and stuff, and he felt a bit different now. Maybe that was because he was just going through different times and stuff like that back then. But yeah, then the previous episode, he kind of went back to what he was before, hitting Anshi and stuff like that. So yeah, interesting stuff. But more importantly, we saw some interesting developments happening, especially with Anshi, right? So first of all, Utena was talking to Anshi when they were laying in bed, because Utena did also move, and Anshi with her moved to Akio's place. So they're living at Akio's place now. Anyways, so they were laying in bed late at night, and Utena told Anshi that she wishes that Anshi would lean on her and kind of go up to her and ask her for advice and like stuff like that. This is what friendship is supposed to be, right? And of course, when you think about it, that sounds great and all in an echo chamber or in a vacuum, but when you actually think about it, like when it comes to their actual friendship, Utena never really confided much with Anshi, right? She always went up to Akio to ask him for advice. So a bit hypocritical of Utena to say that. But also on the other hand, I was thinking about it a lot. On the other hand, you would want to go to someone who you feel like has some like authority, right? Or someone who you feel like is has a higher position than you for advice. But then I feel like Utena is in no position to tell Anshi to ask her for advice. Anyways, it is a bit of a hypocritical situation happening there. And also, towards the end of the episode, with the entire power of Dios during the duel, there was a moment where the power of Dios kind of like dissipated, kind of disappeared, the sword, right? For a second there. Now, I kind of said that maybe it's because of Anshi becoming more, I guess, human, less of a tool and more of a human, because up until this point she's been kind of like a tool for the power of Dios, but now with Utena telling her, hey, you can confide in me, you can ask me for advice, I wonder if that's been affecting it, kind of like reducing the value of a tool because the tool is becoming more human. I don't know, that's just a hypothesis. And also towards the end of the episode, we saw the entire exchange with Akio, where once again Anshi seemed like she was wavering a bit more than usual. I don't know, I feel like things are happening, things are changing, but what is gonna come out of it, I'm not sure. I guess let's find out. So if you wanna watch this, Uncut and Blurred is always on my page in the description. Let's go into Revolutionary Girl Utena episode 26. Oh, we're back in a car?
早急に天井ウテナを破り、バラの花嫁を別の誰かとエンゲージさせる必要がある。天井ウテナは金のガチョウではなかったのですか？金のガチョウは金の卵を産むから価値がある。身勝手な人だ。それで、どの駒を使うんです？
Oh. Oh. That doesn't sound great. Mickey's birdhouse, a sunlit garden, arranged. That does not sound very good for Utena. That feels like a horrible thing to say. The sister. Oh. It's a bird nest. Oh!
それがさ、今日の放課後、この木が切られちゃうって聞いたら、突然窓から壁伝いに枝にある小鳥の巣を助けようとしたのよ。
Good job, Mickey.
なんかさ、小杖って普段クールなくせに時々変なとこあるよね。暑苦しいからもたれるな。こっちの方が楽なんだぜ。もうあんな無茶なことしちゃダメだよ。お兄ちゃんが心配するだろ。お兄ちゃんってば、私のことが心配？もたれるなって言ってるんだ。
Mm.
カバンここに置いたからね。すいません。先輩に荷物持ちなんかやらせてしまって。この子たちはどうします？連れて帰ったのはいいけど、どうすればいいのかな。とりあえず、ヒエのすり絵をやってみたらどうかしら。ヒエ？インコや文鳥の餌の。
Mm.
あれですか。ぬるま湯でふやかしてすりつぶすの。はい。ヒナだから、昼間は3時間おきにやらないと。はい。大変ですね。大変。珍しく話が弾んでるね。姫宮さん、ヒナを育てたことがあるんですね。いいえ。あれ？でも詳しいな。さすが動物好きですね。本当は親鳥に返してやった方がいいんだけど。あ、一人で大丈夫？ありがとう。でもせっかくあなたが来てるんだもの。可愛い妹は気を利かせて消える
It
わ。
would be best to return them to their parents.
ごゆっくり。この手紙、あの人から。ああ、お
Mm.
前も読んどけ。母親からです。いいな。お母さんから
Yeah,
の手
okay.
紙か。
I was wondering if the chicks are gonna be kind of like a metaphor for something else, maybe Mickey and Kozue, and it seems like it kind of is, right?
僕は
Interesting.
両親がいないからそういうの羨ましいよ。親なんかいらないわ。私たちは野生動物だもんね。悪く言うのはよせ。父さんも母さんもいつも僕たちのことを心配してくれてるのに。いやあね、ムキになっちゃって。
Mm.
ねえ、この庭がそうなのかな。何がですか？光さすには、ほら、ミッキーが作った曲のタイトルになっている。さあ、でもあれはイメージなんでしょ？ミッキーと梢ちゃんは小さい時庭でピアノを弾いてい
Yep.
たって、そう言ってたよね。そうですね。この庭なのかな。ずいぶん荒れちゃってるね。思い出ですから。そうだろうけど、僕はもっと。
もっと、なんだって。
さあ、なんでしょうね。私にはわかりません。
お前は彼女のことをどんな風に思ってるんだい？
Interesting.
どんなって。
彼女のことをどう思ってる？言ってごらん。
ティーカップ割れちゃった。アキオさん、いませんか？
ああ、こっちだよ。なんだい？
別に用があるわけじゃないんですけど。あれ、なんか兄弟水入らずのとこお邪魔しちゃったかな。
邪魔だなんて。僕たち3人はもう家族みたいなものじゃないか。何も遠慮はいらないからね。
Ooh, that was a shot.
家族みたいなものか。すいません。何かお兄様が押し付けがましいこと言っちゃって。
Pushy is a very much an understatement.
僕は家族がいないから嬉しかったよ。本当だよ。アキオさんってなんていうか包容力があるよね。お
Mm.
兄様は、そうですね。確かに大人かもしれません。
Mm.
私の親代わりですから。親か。ミッキーの言うように、お父さんとかお母さんはいつも子供のことを思っているものなのかな。それは遺伝子のせいでしょうか。シビアなこと言うね。すいません。
Mm.
謝らなくてもいいよ。世界の果てからまた続けて手紙な
Nah, Akio knows what he's doing. He loves having control. He knows how to control people. He knows what he's doing. He knows. I mean, this is assumptions on my end. It hasn't been confirmed, but I'm guessing he knows exactly what's happening with Utena, how much she's a start for familial bonds and stuff like that. She doesn't know what they're like. I feel like he's using that to kind of like get even closer with her and control her in a way. And also, obviously, as I said earlier, he does have this kind of like authoritative feel to him. So it feels like he definitely can keep her on a leash if he so desires. He's done so with Himemiya. I feel like he can do the same with Utena, right? I feel like he knows what he's doing exactly. I feel like branding him as pushy is a very much an understatement. He's controlling.
あれほど嫌がっていた西園寺先輩が決闘したのも何か関係があるのでしょうか。トンガの動きが気になる。お兄様がどうしたって？天井ウテナを倒せ。君たちデュエリストのためにか。気に入りませんね。君たちのためにとかいう大人は大抵信用できないもんです。それは世界の果てに対する不信任案ね。そう解釈してもらって結構です。自分勝手な大人に利用されるくらいなら僕はもう決闘はしない。そう決めつけるのはまだ早い。世界の果てがどういう存在なのかは依然として不明なままだ。そうよ、もしかしたら足長おじさんみたいな人かもしれないわよ。ナナミ、早く変わってくれ。いやー。
Interesting. I like Mickey a lot.
母さんからの手紙にあったから。いや、僕も小勢も反対じゃないよ。それは父さんの自由だよ。結婚式には出られそうもないけど、祝電ぐらいは打つから。え、誰と？いいよ、新しいお母さんって、そういうのはいいよ。父さん？いいです。いきなり母親だなんて厚かましいでしょ。
Okay. So divorced and remarried, huh? It looks like the children were caught up in the mess.
何してるの？怪我したとかって聞いたけど。野生動物は傷の治りが早いのよ。いいけど、生徒会以外は夜間の居残りは禁止のはずよ。人と待ち合わせしてるの。こんな時間に誰と？足長おじさん。よかったら紹介しようか？結構よ。
Akio. That was Akio. Also, I really dislike the phrase. I really dislike the phrase that Anshi used to describe him when she said that he's very adult. Especially considering how this academy was made for people to be stagnant in and to remain kids, right? And then he's the only kind of like adult here. It feels very wrong. It feels very predatory, the way that she described them. I hate it. I hate it. It's so uncomfortable.
もうすぐ夜が明けるぜ。いつまでここにいるつもりだい？
学祭が近いから指
と
鳴らし。
が、
何に苛立ってるんだ？
別に苛立ってなんて。
デュエリストを辞めるとか言ってるらしいじゃないか。
ええ。
だが、君も一度はデュエリストの道を選んだものだ。奪い取ることでしか手に入らないものがあることは分かっているとは思うが。
a roadblock.
最近あなたの動きが怪しいとジュリさんが言ってましたよ。
美しい音色だ。でも、美しいだけでは、その美しさを維持することすらできない。おや、もう壁に当たったか。
う
何が
ん。
言いたいんです？
君に会わせたい人がいるんだ。
会わせたい人？
ほら、聞こえてこないか。
何がです？
君の魂が本当に諦めていなければ、世界の果てを駆け巡る。この音が聞こえるはずだ。
何を言ってるんですか？
I feel like this is just their setup to gas someone up.
聞こえる。確かに聞こえる。何なんだ？
I think this is just how they convince people to manipulate them.
君が望む世界へ。
理事長ですよね。そう、姫宮先輩のお兄さんよ。お前はこんなところで何してるんだ？もちろん、秋代さんとデートよ。はあ、まあ、好きにすればいい。それより、理事長、僕に何の用ですか？ミキは姫宮先輩が好きなんでしょ。おい、いいじゃない。照れなくても。彼女が大切なら自分のものにしちゃいなさいよ。秋代さんの力になってくれるのね。すごいのよ、彼。お前は姫宮さんのこと嫌いなんじゃないのか？私はミキの幸せを願ってるよ。なんだよ、急に。私はいつも自分の気持ちに素直なだけ。嘘はつかないわ。信用できない。そんなことはないけど。秋代さんもミキのために言ってくれてるんだよ。だって、大人じゃないか。だから、周りが全部汚れてたら、自分も汚れるしかないじゃない。
Nah.
いいも
Ah.
のを手に入れるしかないのよ。
Ah.
欲しいものって。
Ah. I hate the way that they phrase it. Oh, it feels so icky.
この前、西園寺さんを決闘させたのはあなたなんですね。東賀さんも丸め込んで、生徒会に干渉する。あなたは一体。
世界の果てを見せてあげよう。君。
そうか、あなたが。
Here he goes. Dude, these scenes are so
もうちょ
interesting.
っと静かに。ごめん、曲がっちゃった。大丈夫。この位置で固定して。うん。やあ、お揃いで。巣箱を立てたの？戻ってくるかね、親鳥たち。どうしたの？今日の放課後、決闘広場で。そんな。
Mm.
かしらかしら、ご存知かしら。
Okay, wait, before we go into the extras here. So, really interesting. So, yeah, I do think that the entire thing with Toga and Akio showing up in the car and stuff like that, I think that entire thing there is kind of like a show of power and like an offer of strength to kind of like control the other pieces in this game, right? I feel like it's the way that Akio controls people is by showing them, look, this is this power that's actually inside of you, you know? If you can hear this, then this is your motivation, your goals, you know, kind of like flaring up, and you need to use that and stuff like that. I think it's just him gaslighting people into thinking that they have more motivation and more power than they actually do to kind of like control them. It feels so off, and I hate how icky they're wording everything. It's like, I hate it. I hate it.
お客さん、そろそろ潮時じゃないかしら。こうなりゃ財布ごとだ。全部黒。よろしいですね。おっと、残念。赤でしたね。うわー。 ギャンブルはやったことないし、嫌いだっておっしゃってませんでしたか？試しに1回だけって勧めたのあんただろ。ちょっと待ってろ。今貯金を全部回してるから。いいかもだよな。
Let's go. Oh yeah, this is yep, is this one. The elevator. The gondola. Gondola. I've been trying to figure out what this sequence here exactly like means. What it's supposed to show. I'm not sure. I want to see what's gonna happen with. Oh, okay. So now from here on out, we're gonna be doing it like this. The power of Dia is gonna be coming from within Utena. And she's there as well.
決闘を仕掛けてきたのはなぜなのかな。さあ、だってミッキーはもっとなんです。なんだよ、育児なし。
More pathetic. Interesting. That's right. That's it. Okay. Interesting. So we saw the entire thing with, of course, Miki here and Kozue. Interesting. Yeah, it feels like definitely. I feel like Akio is using his, I guess, position or his power as an adult to kind of like get people to follow him, especially people who have some kind of like familial issues. Which, let's be honest, most people at that age are gonna have some kind of like thing that they consider a familial issue, right? But yeah, a lot of them, at least so far that we've seen. Well, actually, not even that. I was gonna talk about like, let's say, Utena, Anshi, in here Miki, but with Sayonji, it wasn't really a familial issue, right? That he had. It was more of an issue of power, him wanting to feel like he has power and stuff. So it wasn't necessarily that, but it definitely does feel like Akio is leveraging his status or his, I guess, symbol as an adult, that everyone sees him as an adult, and using that to kind of like get everyone to his side and to manipulate them, to do what he pleases with them in every sense of the word, right? Which is so disturbing, the way that he's going about it, right? It's so disturbing. Like, even the way that they were talking about like, you know, if everyone around you is tainted, you need to become tainted yourself. Like, just the entire imagery there was, especially knowing that Akio, like his backstory and stuff like that, and him willingly or purposefully, not just willingly, purposefully, kind of like being the adult overseeing this garden of kids, right? It's so off. It's so off. I hate it. I hate it. Oh man. But yeah, really interesting episode with Kozue and Miki here, right? Obviously they have a lot going on in their family and stuff. So, and they seem like they are kind of like split on it. I think Miki is more so trying to be a bit more mature about it, and at least trying to maybe not completely ruin the relationship between the kids and the parents. I don't think he necessarily per se like agrees with the parents or likes them or anything along those lines. I think he's also kind of like just trying his best to live with it. Whereas I feel like Kozue, as she said, she's kind of like a bit more honest, I guess, in that, or not honest, but a bit more ruthless and stuff like that, a bit more yeah, I don't know, strong-headed when it comes to that, and is kind of like keeping to her values of, you know, I don't want to have anything to do with them, no matter if they're my parents or not. So interesting dynamic that they have going on there, right? But I guess we'll see where this story is gonna go. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.